Alright, this video is for a homework help for the Tetris project in After Effects. I'm just going to maybe get the project started. And this here are some of the pieces. So if you already have your graphics already picked out and edited and put together, and this is kind of where we'll start here. So I have all my little blocks here, and then my game board. So you're going to need a game board piece, and then your little blocks to go with it. I'm just going to drag those all over here. And I already know the size of this. It's a pretty big file, 1920 by 1080, and I want that size to be the size of my video. And I'm going to drag that down here and create a composition. And I did that wrong. That went right into my render queue. So let me try this again and get it into my none area. And now that will create my game board background too, which let me just delete that one. And some other sizes that might be good for YouTube could be 854 by 480. I guess, mostly anything with a ratio of 16 to 9 should be okay. And I'm not too concerned even if it has like things on the edges or whatever. So we got our backboard. I'm going to go ahead and lock that. That way it won't interfere when I'm trying to animate anything. And so I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of my blocks. It doesn't matter too much which one. I'll try with the blue one here. And I'm going to put it in my... I'm just going to start over here. I'm not going to go into too much details. If you want, you can start with the next and go over here to the hold or however it works. I just want to get started with some basic motion. Oh yeah, let me check my settings. I do have the size set up. Background color doesn't matter. I do want my duration to be about 20 seconds. That's probably a good amount. Anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds would probably be okay. Yeah, I think that looks okay. And I'm going to drag my... probably not going to do anything more than 6 seconds, so I'm going to drag this down. That way I can just watch this area, and I'm going to blow it up. Zoom in so I can see all my frames a little bit better. Okay, and now I'm going to go into my first block. I go into the transform. I'm going to give my key position. So I'm going to create a keyframe. So it starts there. Let's say, let's try for a second here. We'll move it in a second. Let's give it a hold frame. And I'm not seeing my hold frame over here. I'll just go ahead and... Oh, it's moved over here. There it is. It's on the right instead of the left. And I'm going to just move over about a frame or so and move it to where I want it. And I might have to zoom in a little bit here. I'm not really paying attention too much. It doesn't have to line up with these squares or anything. I'm not putting a whole lot of detail in this right now. I'm just kind of getting in there and kind of trying some stuff out. I want to move it down. This is why I have to zoom in, is because it's wanting to play with the scale. If your scaling does get mixed up, or if you need to change the scale of it, you can do it right in here, where there's a scale option. I'm just going to leave it at 100%. I'm hitting my space bar to move my hand so I can move my background around here. I'm going to move my time indicator a little bit, maybe give it another motion. over here. And then for 1 second, and we'll move it down. And I'm probably going to have it maybe rotated up a different way. So I'll go ahead and rotate it now. So there's 90 degrees. Let me move it up a little bit. Let's kind of try. We'll go ahead and try to fit it in the blocks just to make it look a little nicer. So about there. Maybe give it a preview. I'll move this over to 1 second. Well, I can just preview just this one part. And it's pretty smooth and pretty quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some rotation first. See, first let's give it a rotate. Let's give it a rotation keyframe on the first frame right there, and it will hold it here. We'll give it a hold keyframe. So I'll click right here on the hold. Move it down. Let's maybe rotate it. I'm going to try to line these keyframes up with the same places I have the position keyframes, just to keep kind of everything consistent so it rotates on those same frames where it moves. Let's change it to 180. Okay, and I didn't give it a keyframe where I wanted it last, so let's change it back to 0. And I think I wanted it at 90 here. We'll change that to 90. And not like that. Okay, let's see how that's looking. Looks like it's kind of going all over the place. Alright, so now I'm going to try and get this to look maybe a little more staticky. Give it that kind of robotic movement for this Tetris look. So I'm just gonna select these frames. I'm gonna go into my graph editor. Let's do my position ones first. I'm gonna go into this position. I'm gonna select it twice. I'm gonna right click, make sure I'm in the edit speed graph. We should do that first. I'm gonna click this button right here. Convert selected keyframes to hold, and that just flatten those out. Now let's do it with the rotation. So I'm gonna select it and then select it twice. You see everything turns yellow. And I'm gonna hit the same thing again, convert selected keyframes to hold, and it flattens everything out. And let's see how that looks now. I'm gonna hit my spacebar to preview. Movement looks a little better. I like that. It's still really fast. Let's go back to let's get out of the graph editor and just look at our keyframes. I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. And if I want to play around with anything, let's see. Let me see if I can make this go a little bit slower by adding some frames in between. So like I'm gonna click. Oh, I'm sorry. First, let me select these frames, and I'm gonna stretch it out to about 2 seconds. Let me try this out here. So right here's here's 20 frames, and here's 2 seconds right here. Let me go from 1 second to 2 seconds and see if that helps. So I'm going to select all these frames, and I'm going to hit the Option key, and I'm going to select my last frame, my last keyframe, and I'm going to move it up to the 2 second mark. And you can see it just kind of stretches it all. It looks a little uneven. I kind of want it to be a little more evenly spaced. So let me move this over a little bit more. I'll select these, move these here. Maybe move these maybe over here. Maybe that one. Just try to get them a little more evenly spaced. And preview that, see how that looks. Yeah, that timing looks a lot better to me. Although I wanted that whole rotation at the very beginning to be 0. Let me change that. 0. So it's looking a little bit better. I think I would like to slow down some of those motions a little bit. There's some different ways you can do it. So like right in here, I'm going to see if I can zoom in. I'm using my middle mouse button to zoom in. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to try to drag this. And I'm hitting the shift. So I'm dragging my block and hitting I'm clicking on it and hitting shift and moving it, and you can see it created a keyframe right here. Let me move that over a little bit over here. Let me move it over a little bit more. Let me give it another one. I'm going to click and then drag it and then shift. Click, drag, and then shift. Let me see where those keyframes are. We're going to manually move these up a little bit too. Move that one up a little bit over here, or here. And it should hold a little bit more. Maybe a little too much. Let's see how that looks. So it kind of looks like it's kind of got a little bit of a robotic move when it does it, which I think that looks okay. Let's try another one. Maybe we'll move this one up a little bit closer here. Oop. Okay, that's going from here to here. So I could probably shorten this one a little bit. I'm going to move those over here a little bit and try to stick some frames in here. Let me try this again. The spacebar, move this up. I'm going to hit click, drag down, and shift. I'm going to try it there. Let's see if I can move this one over here. Let's see if I can hit a hold button, see what that does right here. I mean a keyframe, hold keyframe on my position right here. And I don't think it went where I wanted it to. Yeah, it created one on top of where it already was, because that's where my time indicator was. If I really wanted to, I'd probably straighten these all up real nice. So let's go back to the beginning and see how that looks. That looks a little bit better. So that's one way you can do it. I think this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to call this the end of this first one.